Hello and welcome to your weekly adventure through the Canadian art scene. I'm your host, Amanda Paris. In today's episode, you'll see a filmmaker going above and beyond, an illustrator inspired by the ups and downs of motherhood, a choreographer using hip-hop culture to shake up contemporary dance in Montreal, and the mother and son crafting a photographic journey through dementia. It is gonna be an emotional ride, so I hope you're ready. This is CBC Arts Exhibitionists. Tony Luciani has been a painter for more than 40 years. However, it wasn't until he began photographing his mother that he got the world's attention. The photos themselves are intensely personal. Tony's mother, Elia, is losing her memory through dementia, and his stunning portraits have become a way to keep her stories alive. Take a look.
My project, Mama in the Meantime, started completely accidental. I was practicing a new camera I had purchased, and she just happened to photobomb me. Smile, Mama. So I've been painting full-time since 1978. I did use the camera before, but only as references for my paintings. Before that, she was just sitting when she moved in with me, and I was working my painting, and there was a real disconnect. But at that point, when the photography started and she photobombed me, I thought, aha. And it wasn't done for me, it wasn't done for her, it was done for us. And we connected beyond the photography. That was just a medium we used, but we connected as mother and son as well. Hey, vi faccio la fotografia a te, mamma. The wonderful thing about the portrait sessions was that in setting up my camera and my tripod and the lighting and so forth, she'd tell me stories. And those stories led me on to talking about her life. They introduced me to my mom that I didn't know, or didn't know well enough. She was a young girl in Italy when her father died, and she was the oldest of two daughters. So my mom was married off at 13 to a fella she'd never met before. She went from being just a kid, a child, to a woman with missing out her adolescence. She loved telling me about her life, at least the parts that she could remember. Okay, guarda qua. The reaction my mom has presently with this whole project is that she doesn't remember any of it. I wish she did understand and grasped onto the sense of what people think of her. Yet, she doesn't, and that's the reason why the series has happened. Bien. The project went on for 4 years while she was living with me. And it stopped because on one of Mom's many walks around town, she fell over. The wheel on her rollator caught a crack in the road, and she broke her arm. My daughter said, "Dad, it's time. It's time." But the 4-year project was an everyday collaboration. When I photographed her, I did see changes in her. She was more and more in the present. It's a cliche, but it's a very long, long goodbye. At 96, I know that she's not going to live forever. But I go back to where my father had passed away, and suddenly, and I wasn't there to say goodbye. It wasn't going to happen with my mom. I refuse. And to say goodbye to her in a special way.
On Elia's birthday, she received cards from people all over the world, moved by the images her son has captured. Up next is another artist inspired by mothers and motherhood. Julia Hutt is our exhibitionist in residence this week. You'll be seeing snippets of her work throughout the show. They are beautiful portraits capturing breastfeeding, pregnancy, and postpartum. I'll let her tell you more about it.
Hi, my name is Julia Hutt. My artist name is Jules Annie, and I do art about motherhood. We live in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is my daughter, Georgina. And since becoming a mother, I've been really inspired to capture the hard parts of motherhood, the intense parts, also the beautiful parts, and a lot of moms seem to be relating to that work, so that just inspires me to do more.
Coming up, our correspondent Tamara Canoe goes rogue in the town of Falher, Alberta. When we sent Tamara Canoe out on a road trip to investigate massive monuments in small Albertan towns, we expected lots of stories and tons of pictures, but we definitely didn't expect her to have 30,000 bees land on her face. Warning, if you're a little squeamish, you may want to watch the next one the way that I did, through your fingers.
We're here in Falher, Alberta, celebrating 100 years of a vibrant rural community. It's actually home to the world's largest honeybee. So we're here to find out what all the buzz is about. That's now on Big Things Small Towns.
Falher is known as the honey capital of Canada. At its peak, it was producing 9 million pounds of Canada's honey per year. The honeybee itself was built by a local welder named Richard Etier, who made it in his studio locally and based it on several drawings of a honeybee.
What was your role in all of this?
Well, I was the president of the Falher District Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
We decided the best tribute to the honey industry would be large bee.
Is it working? The whole point was to bring people here. You guys are celebrating 100 years, so it must be doing something.
I've actually stopped to speak to people. I've seen people from around the world. It means a lot to us because it identifies our town.
I can't begin to understand a small town who based their monument on the honeybee unless I try to understand the industry itself. I'm going to meet with Grant Hicks, who I'm told is the honey expert of Northern Alberta. Suits and all, safety first.
Ready to chill out?
So I'll just take these off.
Don't you need some gloves?
No, they're pretty good humor on a day like today.
Oh, wow. Look how many there are. How many would you say are in one box?
There's probably 20 or 30,000.
In one box?
Yeah.
No. So do we know where the queen is?
Well, I'm kind of looking for her. There she is.
Wow, I think I see her.
Right here.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to live in a town where the monument is a honeybee? Like, what does that mean for you?
When I was a boy, the Peace Country was famous for honey production. the bee, I guess, kind of celebrates that.
And so does Falher. Falher celebrates the bee.
There's one last thing I need to do. Every year, Falher hosts an annual honey festival. One of the events, the bee beard, something most locals don't even try.
What's first? How do we do this?
Well, you have two options. Wear it or no wear coveralls. It's up to you.
Oh, 100%. We're putting on the coveralls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That I don't know. I just picture them going right in my jeans, and I feel like I might react poorly. Okay.
Have a sit.
Sure. There's some bees on the chair. I'll just get you to sweep those off. Okay.
So what this we call is a lure. Okay. Each of these one replace around maybe 50 queen bees.
Oh. They're walking on my neck.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'm mildly terrified.
Yeah, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. Oh, wow, that was shocking. Yeah. You are not going to throw those on.
Could you lift it up a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay. A little, lift it up more. Lift it up more. Lift it up more. See, they're docile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so calm.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel comfortable, right?
No, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, they're coming up now.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, do not show me that again. Nope.
Yeah, you can see the people.
Can you leave it?
Yeah.
It's not the time for jokes.
How will you guys get it off?
That's a great question. So how long do I have to wear this beard, Fernando?
It's up to you. We
Wow.
can shave it out.
Let's shave this beard.
Yes. Okay.
Let's do it.
Yes. What you will do,
Yeah.
you will shake them off. Shake yourself here.
Shake.
Yeah. Here. There.
All right.
1, 2.
Whole body. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I walked out of there with 0 stings and only minor trauma. These massive objects are everywhere throughout Alberta. In Falher, the honeybee means more than just culture and heritage. It's Falher's public art, and after 100 years, it shows how much they celebrate the bee. Where should we go next? Find out on Big Things, Small Towns.
Giants of the prairies designed to catch your eye. They may not be.
Hey, I'm Allysin Chaynes, and today I'm here to talk about my super queero, iconic, legendary drag queen, Craig Russell. Craig Russell was a really famous entertainer and performer that would probably be pretty upset that I just referred to them as a drag queen because they didn't like that title too much. They were an impersonator and an illusionist and a singer and a vocal impressionist.
Tonight I'm going to do a medley of my greatest hit.
They were super famous for being able to do a huge, wide multitude of vocal impressions of celebrities, and they would change live on stage. So in one number, Craig Russell could be duetting with himself as Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, while still on stage dressed as Bette Midler, which happens in his special live in Amsterdam in 1980. But Craig was well known around Toronto, performing at legendary clubs that don't exist anymore, like Club Manatee and the Rhino. Toronto really had an obsession with naming gay bars after large gray animals. That's so weird. In 1977, Craig Russell got to star in this incredible film called Outrageous.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I don't need nice stones.
it was about a hairdresser named Robin Turner, who was essentially Craig Russell playing himself, trying to climb the ladder of drag in the world of Toronto and then later in New York in the film. It's an amazing piece of work and everyone should check it out. It's iconic, classic Canadian queer cinema. I found out about Craig Russell because there was this thing going around Facebook years ago that was like, to find your reincarnated soul, type into Google, died, and then the exact day, month, year you were born. Craig Russell left the mortal coil less than 24 hours before I was born. Literally the night before I was born, Craig Russell passed away from complications due to AIDS in 1990. It was October 30th. I'm born on Halloween. He died right before Halloween. So as a drag performer, he never had to do another Halloween gig, I guess, and wanted to get out early. So when I found that out, I had been doing drag for probably only about a year, and my mind was blown, and I had never heard of this person, and so many haven't, because a lot of his work has kind of been lost to the generations of before everything was being filmed and archived and cataloged.
Who are you now?
Who am I now?
Yeah.
Damned if I know.
He was, as a teenager, the president of Mae West's fan club, and then at 17 went to go live with her in California in her guest house and became her personal assistant. I know, isn't that incredible? So he was Mae West's personal assistant and got to like mentor from someone who he later upended impersonating all over the world.
You became so compulsive about her.
Well, there are lots of reasons for her success. One of them is you never let a man put anything over on you unless it's an umbrella.
I thank you, Craig Russell, for being an absolutely incredible, influential, amazing Canadian queer icon that everyone should know about. Voices like that can't be lost to time, and it's important that, people can still enjoy and respect this work that was made a long time ago that holds up to this day. So, Craig, if you're out there, if you're listening, if you're somewhere in here right now, thank you so much.
Coming up, meet the LA b-boy who took his breaker roots and created a whole new dance language in Montreal.
My name is Victor Quijada. I'm the artistic director of Rubber Band Dance Group, founder, choreographer. I'm originally from Los Angeles. My first contact with dance was not in a dance studio, but it was in the street with cyphers, with b-boying, breaking, popping. And that hip-hop culture became a huge part of my life throughout my childhood, my adolescence. It wasn't until late in my teenage years that I discovered classical forms, modern dance. As I continued getting into the classical world, I felt this urge to reconnect with that part of me that I had left in Los Angeles. And at that time, there was no companies that were doing what I thought could be possible with taking the movement that was coming out of us at a time very specific in hip hop where I just felt we were still inventing what it could be. And that was the beginning of, okay, I need to start my own group, Rubber Band Dance. That's what it's going to be. When I was a hip hopper myself, it was a underground subculture that we found power through. I mean, when we would go into the ciphers and improvise, it was like to get to connect into another something else. The urgency and the weight of the risks, what is at stake in the hip hop world when you do that, I don't know where to compare it with. And being able to take that and somehow organize it in a way that it could be represented night after night and not become stale or lose its life. I started this company and I wanted to start something that felt like what I had been part of as a kid. A dance crew, family, I got your back. I wanted it to be, I was paying homage to a certain time in my life, but I wanted it to be bigger than just me. I want it to be a hub. So if we can inspire as many people as we can, if we can train as many people as we can, if we can create as many different types of projects as we can, film, stage. I always wished for mainstream success with underground respect. And if there's a way to continue being present in both of those worlds, then that would be it.
Victor's company, Rubber Band Dance, are so athletic and so unafraid, they've set a new bar for contemporary dance in Montreal. If there's an artist you think should be on CBC Arts Exhibitionists, send me a message on social media. Our handle is @CBC Arts. FYI, if you're in the mood to binge, you can watch the last 4 seasons of CBC Arts Exhibitionists and all of our new episodes from season 5 on CBC Gem. Tune in next week. We'll be doing another deep dive into the invigorating work of Canadian artists. Peace.